So it's October, the season of scary stories. But let me tell you something. The scariest stories I know have nothing to do with ghost or haunted house. They're real life horror stories from families who didn't plan ahead. So don't worry, I'm not here to spook you for the sake of it, but I am here because these lessons that can save your family from heartbreak, stress, and financial loss. And if you stick with me through the end of the video, I'll not only share these horror stories, but I'll also show you how every single one of them could have been avoided. So let's start out with the classic nightmare, the probate nightmare. So we've seen instances where families thought they had everything covered. Mom had a will, it was signed, notarized in front of two witnesses. Everyone assumed that that meant things would go smoothly, but here's what they didn't realize. A will doesn't avoid probate. So when she passed away, her children were forced to open up a probate case, and that meant months of filing paperwork, paying court costs, and hiring attorneys, and waiting for hearings. And probate doesn't just happen once. Every decision, whether it's selling houses, paying debts, distributing money, requires court approval. And it didn't take months, it took years. Nearly 2 full years before the family was able to close out that estate. And during that time, her assets were essentially frozen. What does that mean? The kids can't easily access money for expenses. They have to keep paying utilities, property taxes, and insurance out of their own pockets while waiting for the court to release and reimburse those funds. And on top of all that, probate is public. Anyone could look up that file, see what she owned, who inherited what, even how much debt the estate had. And that is not the kind of legacy that anyone wants to leave behind. Now, why did this happen? And this is critical because a will alone does not stop that probate court process. A will is essentially a letter to the court, to the judge that says, here's what I want. But the judge still has to supervise the process. Let me ask you, do you want your kids spending 2 years in court after you're gone, or would you rather they have immediate access to what you left for them? That's the difference that a trust can make. All right, so here's another one. And this one can be really difficult because we see it all the time. 2 brothers inherit their parents' home. There's no instructions, there's no guidance, there's nothing in writing. Just, here's the house, you two figure it out, right? You are both equal owners in this property. And so at first they try to work it out, but each brother wanted to keep the home for different reasons. One had lived there and felt entitled to the property, right? The other saw it as an investment and wanted to sell it. What started as a disagreement turned into arguments. Arguments turned into lawyers, and everything went into a full-on partition lawsuit. And let me tell you, these types of lawsuits between family are some of the ugliest cases that you will ever see. Old resentments come up, and they do. Decades of family baggage get dragged into court, and by the time the dust settles, not only had they lost tens of thousands of dollars in legal fees, they had also lost their relationship too. And these brothers who grew up together no longer even speak. We see these cases multiple times every year. Now all of this, and all of it, it could have been avoided with just a few clauses, sentences in a trust or a will. Something that said, this specific house at this address goes to this child, or the house should be sold and the proceeds split 50-50. Or even if one child wants the house, here's how that buyout shall ensue and how long it has before that's done. Clear instructions prevent confusion, and more importantly, they prevent fighting. Think about your family for a moment. Do you know how your kids would handle something like this? Do you trust them to figure it out peacefully? Or would you rather take that burden off their shoulders and spell it out now while you can? These are nightmares, right? So let's recap. The probate nightmare, avoidable with a properly funded trust. The family feud, preventable with clear instructions in their will or trust in writing. Now here's the truth. Estate planning isn't just about money. It's about protecting your family from stress, conflict, and from guilt. It's about giving them the gift of peace of mind. And so in this October, while everyone else is telling ghost stories, I want you to think about your story. What will it be? A nightmare your family wishes had been avoided, or a story of love, clarity, and peace? At Beacon Legacy Group, we make estate planning simple. We sit down with you, learn about your family, and build a plan that keeps the nightmares away. Don't let your loved ones inherit fights, bills, and court dates. Give them the inheritance they actually want: peace, clarity, and security.